Hulegu Khan, also spelled Hulegu, was a prominent Mongol ruler and military commander who played a crucial role in the expansion of the Mongol Empire into Western Asia during the 13th century. A grandson of Genghis Khan and brother to Kublai Khan, Möngke Khan, and Erik Bök, Hulegu was instrumental in the Mongol conquest of Persia and the Middle East. His campaigns led to the destruction of some of the most significant Islamic power centers of the time, including the infamous sacking of Baghdad in 1258, which marked the end of the Islamic Golden Age under the Abbasid Caliphate. Early life and background. Hulegu Khan was born around 1217 into the royal Borjigin family, the ruling dynasty of the Mongol Empire. His father, Tolui, was the youngest son of Genghis Khan and his chief wife Bort. His mother, Sorgaktani Beki, was a Karaite princess known for her intelligence, political skills, and devout adherence to Nestorian Christianity. Sorgaktani played a significant role in ensuring that her sons Möngke, Kublai, Hulegu, and Erik Bök rose to positions of power within the Mongol Empire. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Hulegu was exposed to a diverse range of cultures and religions from an early age, largely due to his mother's influence. This exposure helped shape his relatively tolerant approach toward religion, though he was also capable of brutal violence and warfare. Rise to power. In 1251, Möngke Khan, Hulegu's older brother, became the Great Khan, Khagan, of the Mongol Empire. One of his first major decisions as Khagan was to send Hulegu on a campaign to expand Mongol rule into the Islamic heartlands of Persia and the Middle East. His primary objectives were to destroy the remnants of the Assassins, the Nizari Ismailis, and to subjugate the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad, which was still seen as a major political and religious force despite its decline. Hulegu set out on his campaign in 1255 with a vast army, said to be one of the largest Mongol forces ever assembled. He moved systematically through Persia, using overwhelming military power and psychological warfare. Campaign against the Assassins. The first major target of Hulegu's campaign was the Nizari Ismaili sect, commonly known in the West as the Assassins. They had fortified mountain strongholds in Persia and were notorious for political assassinations. Hulegu laid siege to their key fortress, Alamut, in 1256. The fortress, once considered nearly impregnable, fell after a prolonged siege, and the order was effectively dismantled. Their leader, Imamrun al-Din Shah, surrendered and was later executed. The destruction of the Assassins marked a major turning point in the region, removing a powerful, if covert, player from the political landscape. The sack of Baghdad, 1258. The most infamous chapter in Hulegu Khan's life was the siege and sack of Baghdad in 1258. At the time, Baghdad was the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate and a major center of learning, culture, and Islamic religion. Despite warnings, Caliph al-Mustasim refused to surrender to the Mongols, underestimating their resolve and strength. Hulegu's forces surrounded the city and laid siege for several weeks. On February 10, 1258, Baghdad fell. What followed was one of the most devastating massacres in history. Tens of thousands, possibly up to 1 million, residents were killed. The city's libraries, including the fabled House of Wisdom, were burned or thrown into the Tigris River, turning the waters black with ink. Caliph al-Mustasim was executed, reportedly rolled in a carpet and trampled to death by horses, a method chosen to avoid spilling royal blood. The fall of Baghdad marked the end of the Abbasid Caliphate as a political force and dealt a severe blow to Islamic civilization. It also demonstrated the terrifying reach of the Mongol war machine. Further campaigns and the Battle of Anjalut. After sacking Baghdad, Hulegu moved into Syria and captured Aleppo and Damascus. However, his progress was halted after the death of Möngke Khan in 1259, which forced Hulegu to return to Mongolia to participate in the power struggle over the succession. In Hulegu's absence, a crucial battle occurred in 1260, the Battle of Anjalut in modern-day Palestine. The Mamluks of Egypt, under Sultan Qutuz and General Baybars, decisively defeated the Mongols, marking the first significant Mongol defeat in open battle and halting their westward expansion into North Africa. This battle saved Islamic civilization in the region and preserved Egypt from Mongol domination. The Ilkhanate, founding a dynasty. Upon returning to Persia, Hulegu established the Ilkhanate, a breakaway khanate of the Mongol Empire that ruled over Persia and parts of the Middle East. Although technically subordinate to the Great Khan in Mongolia, the Ilkhanate operated independently. Its capital was initially at Maraga and later moved to Tabriz. The Ilkhanate under Hulegu and his successors was notable for its religious diversity. Though a Buddhist himself, Hulegu was tolerant of Christians, Muslims, and Jews. His wife, Dokuz Khatun, was a Nestorian Christian and wielded influence in court. Christian communities in the region enjoyed certain protections under Hulegu's rule, although the broader destruction wrought by his conquests had devastated many. Death and succession. Hulegu Khan died in 1265, possibly of illness. He was buried in a secret location, in line with Mongol tradition. His son Abaka Khan succeeded him as ruler of the Ilkhanate and continued Mongol rule in Persia until the early 14th century. Hulegu's legacy is mixed and highly polarizing. In Western and Christian sources, he was sometimes viewed as a hero who crushed Muslim power and opened paths for Christian influence. In Islamic history, however, he is remembered as a destructive force responsible for one of the greatest tragedies of the medieval Muslim world. Legacy. Hulegu Khan remains a towering figure in the history of the Mongol Empire and the Middle East. His actions had long-term consequences. End of the Abbasid Caliphate. The destruction of Baghdad signaled the decline of Islamic centralized authority. Rise of the Mamluks. His defeat at Anjalut paved the way for the Mamluks to dominate the eastern Mediterranean. Founding of the Ilkhanate, he established a durable Mongol dynasty that influenced Persian culture, administration, and religion for nearly a century. Cultural exchange. Despite the violence of his campaigns, the Ilkhanate became a center for cross-cultural exchange among Mongols, Persians, Turks, Arabs, and others. Hulegu's life was emblematic of the broader Mongol expansion, brutally effective in conquest, transformative in administration, and profoundly influential in shaping the geopolitical map of Eurasia.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.